Let's start with importing some footage into Resolve. DaVinci Resolve recognizes most of the modern video formats. However, some formats play better than others, and some formats just doesn't play on Resolve. So the best way for me to move anything to Resolve, you can do it through an EDL or through a very simple trick that I'm going to show you now. I use some cameras which shoots into AVC HD files that are not currently being read by Resolve. So an EDL would not be an option for me now. I'm going to show you how to import an EDL later, but I use this trick often. I'm going to import all the footage that we're going to be using into Premiere Pro. And I'm just going to lay it all in a sequence. And now I'm just going to go through it and edit the parts that we won't be using in Resolve. Okay, I just collected some footage that I shot for my clients. These are done over different projects for different clients. If we export this as EDL now, when we import the EDL into Resolve, it's not going to be able to read some of the files because the files are in formats that Resolve doesn't recognize. Plus, there are some formats that are easier for Resolve to understand. So even though that it can read a lot of formats, some formats are just easier. So we're going to export this file now as a single QuickTime ProRes file. Okay, I'm gonna choose QuickTime, and I actually going to change this from ProRes HQ into ProRes 422. Bear in mind that you will not gain any advantage in quality when you convert your footage that was shot in 420 into 422. And now that the export is done, let's move to Resolve. So here we are at Resolve at the test project we created earlier. In order to control what volumes and what files appear in this library here, you go to DaVinci Resolve, Preferences, and you can add any volume that you want from here by pressing the Add button, and you navigate to any folder. And the folders you navigate to are going to be shown here. So this is my desktop. I'm going to navigate to the DaVinci file here, to Color, and when I click on the folder, I'm going to find the file that we created here. It's a single file at the moment. So if we simply grab this file here, we're going to have this file in our project, but it's one file. And I don't want to do that. I want to apply different settings and different color for every scene. So in order to get these different scenes, I'm going to right click on the file and choose Scene Cut Detection. What this is doing now is that this is my entire video file. This is the length of my file. And when I click Start, it's going to analyze every scene in the file and tell me that Resolve thinks that there's a cut here, that the scene have changed at certain times. Now we're done, and Resolve tells me that there are the scenes. As you see, some of the lines are shorter than others. The tall lines means that Resolve is confident that there is a cut here. And the shorter the line, it means that Resolve tells me there might be a cut here. This horizontal line here is a threshold. So if I move the threshold up and this line here becomes gray, it means that this whole part of the film will be added as one scene. And if I bring it down, so now we will have two different scenes here. Usually you want to check some of the scenes to see if there is actually a cut here by just placing the playhead before the cut and press space. And take a look at it. There should be a change here now in the scene once we hit the green line. And yes, there was a change in scene, so this is indeed a scene change. Some of the lines, like look at this small line here, we have to check it also. Okay, this is not a scene. Probably some of the shadows just tricked Resolve to think that there was a cut here, but as long as the purple line is above this line, it's not green, there should not be a problem. Now, to add these scenes to Resolve as different files, click Add Cuts to Media Pool. Now Resolve have automatically detected that the frame rate in the project that we created earlier is different than the frame rate of these films that we're importing now. So it's asking us to change the file's frame rate, not the film's frame rate, the file's frame rate. So hit change and close this window. Now these are the files that we just imported. Now in order to add these files to a sequence, we have to go to the edit page and create a new sequence. So you'll come to the timeline tab here and click the plus sign. We're creating a new timeline. We'll just keep the name at timeline 1 and create new timeline. Now we need to select all of these files and drag them to the timeline. We are not going to go through editing in Resolve because usually you would get your material edited from your EDL of choice. We're going to jump right away to the color tab.